starting about 9 o'clock tonight. And the place or the time when you're likely to have flood damage, just literally water all of a sudden pouring over the side of your bulkhead, is something like 8 tomorrow morning. The winds are scheduled to subside late tomorrow afternoon, and then we're going to have a whole separate set of issues of how we clean up and mass transit sites to get back, which probably is not going to happen until well into the day on Monday. So Monday morning is going to be a mess in terms of the commute. But our concern is saving lives. Our concern is making sure that the only thing that comes out of this is inconvenience and maybe a little bit of property damage. We don't need people to die. Unfortunately, I was told about somebody who fell off a ladder earlier when they were trying to board up their house. They haven't died yet, but seriously injured and may in fact be fatal. Now, things happen all the time, but we can take some steps and to try to minimize the damage and prevent as many as we can. We're also going to talk a little bit about power and the possibility of electricity being shut off in some areas. Kevin Burke from Conant is going to help us with that. But remember, we're asking buildings to shut off their elevators, certainly doing that in NYCHA. We just don't need people stuck in the elevators. And if the power goes out while you're in the elevator, we're going to have to not find out about it, which sometimes is hard to do, and then get the fire department there. And the fire department should be standing by for real emergencies. And so if you haven't evacuated yet, you still have time to do it. There is no mass transit available, but we don't have buses at NYCHA facilities. You can hail a cop car. Some of the taxis are working. Maybe some family motorists will give you a ride, or you can just walk. But just because you say, I'm living on the 10th floor and water's not going to get here, that's true. But that doesn't mean we could get to you, or you could get out if you had to. It doesn't mean there isn't going to be flying glass. From the higher you go up, the stronger the winds are. We should heed the warnings and follow what the law says. Please evacuate the A areas, the low-lying areas, and all of the Rockaways. As a programming note, when we finish talking about what's happening here, we will have a press conference in Spanish and take some questions for a Spanish-speaking audience. Margarita Lopez, a NYCHA board member who used to represent the Lower East Side on the City Council and has been out in the field encouraging the residents to evacuate, will conduct that. Now let's first talk about NYCHA. If you're a resident of a NYCHA facility in the Rockaways, Coney Island, the Lower East Side, or any other of the low-lying and the Zone A areas, you must evacuate now. It is a mandatory evacuation. Your buildings are shutting down. Your elevators are shutting down. Your boilers are shutting down. And it will be much too dangerous to stay. Now, for the last 5 hours, we have been running bus service from NYCHA developments to nearby evacuation centers. And we hope NYCHA residents and other New Yorkers who need to evacuate have places to stay with family or friends who live in safer areas. But in case you do not have family or friends close by, we have evacuation centers fully staffed and ready to go. There are about 78 hurricane shelters and 8 special medical centers across the city. There is plenty of room. No one's going to be turned away. If NYCHA residents don't want to use one of our 3 buses to evacuate, which we have outside the NYCHA facilities that need to be evacuated, you could use a private car or a cab. GPS data does show us that the number of taxis on the streets right now is just below the average for a Saturday afternoon. And we have moved to a zone fare system to encourage ride sharing and increase the capacity of each cab. We've also directed cabs to go to the evacuation areas. Liveries and commuter vans have also been authorized to pick up street hails anywhere in the city. But the essential point is either you have to walk, evacuate now. And as I said, this is for all of the Zone A areas, the low-lying areas, but also the Rockaways, even for the areas that are higher up. Because there, if you were to, God forbid, have a medical emergency, for example, it's not clear that we could get to you. As the winds build up, the bridges may very well close down. It may not be possible to get off Staten Island or to get off the Rockaways. And so it's a good time right now to say, okay, better to be safe than sorry. We've been saying this all day. The time is running out. It's going to get dark in a little while, and the rains will start getting heavier, and then the winds will make it very difficult and dangerous to be outside. The airports are basically all closed. The Staten Island ferry is still running. It's running on a 1-hour schedule simply because there is no demand. Nobody's nobody's showing up at the ferry. We'll continue to do that into later in the day, but as soon as the winds start to build and it gets to be something like 40 knots, at that point we think it's not safe to run them, and so we will shut those down. The storm is coming, and a few things that are still working, a few stores that are still open, you would expect to all close in the very near future.
And we're listening to New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg briefing us on the status of evacuations, also letting people know that just because the rain is in and out doesn't mean you can go out. Still a very serious situation there.
Yeah, he would do it. We're trying to do a very good job at least getting the word out, especially to New Yorkers who aren't used to what do you do in New York in a hurricane. So that's what we want to make sure we at least get the very latest from the mayor and certainly from all our experts here so you know what to expect.
And we want to quickly head down to the shore where we find Adam Bergman, Asbury Park. Adam, how are things there?
No, the wind's definitely picking up here. The rain just let up for a moment. These bands will continue working in. We're worried about all of that coming this way. High tide is going to be in about another 3.5 hours or so. And this area will start to get compromised. There'll be another high tide as we hit roughly 7 a.m. Sunday morning. And likely a lot of this water will come on in and maybe go several blocks inland. This is why now the city of Asbury Park, they've been going door to door, knocking on people's door, trying to get them out about 7 to 12 blocks inland, Todd and Maria, just to get them out of harm's way. Back to you guys.
All right, Edgar, thanks so much. We'll, coming up, I'll take you to Virginia Beach. I did a live report on the mayor, see exactly what's going on wind-wise there. Also, Richmond, Virginia had a wind gust of 55 miles per hour. You're 98 miles inland. So, again, take this seriously. But live continuing coverage. Hurricane Irene.